Hello friends, welcome to Developers Tube channel. My name is Ismail Saudagar, and today in this video we will discuss about exception handling part 2. In my previous video I have explained what is exception handling and what is the exception. And today in this video we will discuss about the code example and types of exception. So let's go to our topic. So first we will discuss types of exception. There are mainly two types of exception, predefined exception and user-defined exception. So predefined exceptions are the exception which are already defined by the .NET framework. And the predefined exception includes arithmetic exception, null reference exception, index out of range exception, invalid cast exception, and stack overflow exception, and many more. So arithmetic exception is the exception or the error. It occurs when any wrong type of an arithmetic operation or mathematical operation we want to perform. At that time, this exception is raised. Null reference exception means when we want to access some value and want to perform some action on that value, and that value is actually having null value. So in that case, null reference exception comes because we are referring to a null object or null value. Index out of range exception. So this occurs when suppose we are having an array of 4 elements, and if we want to try to access fifth element which is actually not present, and that index value also not present in the array, so in that case index out of range exception comes. Invalid cast exception comes when we want to try to convert one data type into another data type, and that is not possible, means it cannot be converted. The stack overflow exception occurs when a method is called and a lot of data is coming, and it is due to recursion. Recursion means calling the same method from inside the method. So continuously it is executing and it doesn't have any stop point. So in that case, stack overflow exception occurs. Now we'll see user defined exception. These are the exception which is created by the user. Suppose in my program, if I want to raise an exception manually on a particular situation, suppose I'm having one array of one list of integer, and that uh, list of integer contains even numbers. So in that case, suppose in that list of integer by mistake, that list of even numbers by mistake, if I'm having any odd number, so if that odd number is found, then I want to raise exception on that odd number. If suppose I want to raise an exception, so this is a user defined exception. So because there is a user on his particular or custom condition he has raised, so it is called a user defined exception. Now we'll understand what is exception class, because these exceptions are handled by the exception class. Means when any exception comes in the try block of the exception handling mechanism, so it is sent to the catch block, and catch block contains a parameter of type exception class. So this exception class is responsible for handling the exception. So what is this? We'll discuss. The exception class is present in system namespace. It encapsulates the methodologies for handling error in a proper way. Suppose I get an error, and if I want to handle it properly, means that exception or error related information I want to save in a file or show on the screen. So this is a proper way. Instead of abrupt program termination, it is a good situation if you want to handle it or write the exception information. The exception class has the properties like error, stack trace, and inner exception. It provides a standardized way to handle runtime errors, allowing you to catch and respond to unexpected events during program. The exception class is the base class for all exceptions, both built-in and custom. So as we have seen that there are a number of user-defined, means predefined exceptions are there. So for that predefined exception, .NET has created various classes, but all those exception classes are inherited from exception class. So exception class is the parent of all other type of exception classes which are present, and is the root of the exception hierarchy in C#, meaning all other exception classes inherit from it. Now purpose, it encapsulates information about an error that occurs during a program execution, such as the error message, stack trace, and inner exception. Now we'll see the code example of this exception handling in Visual Studio. So I will go to Visual Studio. In the Visual Studio, I have created a project, and it is a console application, and the name of the project is exception handling. And in this exception handling project, I have created one class program. Means by default there is one class present in the console application, so it is a program class. So in this program class I have created four methods. One is divide two numbers. So this method will divide the will take two number as a parameter and will try to divide it. Another one is convert data. Means I will take here a string parameter and I will try to convert the data string data into integer type of data that is converted. Here I'm taking number and trying to convert into int. I'm having here print number method. This print number method will run a loop from 1 to 100, and it will print that I value, means the number value, into onto the console. So for this purpose I have created the print number here, and you can see that print number is calling it from inside. It means this print number from inside I am calling to this, so means it's a recursion, means it will not terminate and continue calling to itself. Next method which I have created here is read array. As the name indicates, it is used for reading the array. So here I am having an array, means a list of integers, that is number list, and in that I have put a 1, 2, 3 on index, like from 0 to 3 respectively. And after that here I am trying to access the fourth index value from this number list which is not present, and I will get an exception. So for showing you how exception occurs, I have created this method. Now in the here static void main, in the main method, I have created the object of this program class, and since I am sure that it will not raise any error or throw error, no error will come, I have put this, means the initialization of this program class, means the creation of the object of program class outside of the try catch block. So for performing exception handling, we have to write the try block, and then catch block is mandatory. If I will remove this catch block or comment this catch block, here I will have error. You can see that expected catch or finally. So it requires catch block. So I will uncomment this, and you can see that error has gone, and you can see that here in the catch block I'm having ex parameter of type exception. So when the exception will be thrown from the catch block, it will come here in this parameter. I can access the details of the exception. Exception stands for an error, runtime error, which comes, as already in my previous video I have explained. So here if I want to do something with this exception, I can write, suppose if I want to print this on my console, so I will write here console dot write line, and if I want to print the message, error message stack trace on my window, console window, then I am having here ex dot error ex dot message. So this is the message of the exception which I will print on the screen. Means I'm handling the error situation here. So for exception handling, try catch block is mandatory, and with the catch block we are having the parameter of exception class, and we can access the properties. The finally blocks is optional here, and it will be executed after try and catch only. So if I will write yes, finally I want to do some operations here, so I can write the finally block here, and I can put here finally. Suppose I want to print something on the screen, whether exception is handled or not, whether exception will occur or not. I will write console.write line. This is finally. So this is optional block. So when I will run this, first what will happen, divide by 2 here. First what I am doing here in the try block. In the try block I am writing first here I have created the object of the program class. After that I am calling divide by two numbers, and I am passing first number as 1 and second is 0. So I here in my divide by 0 method, you can see that these parameters will come into a and b, 1 and 0, and when I'll try to delete it by 0, this one value which will come in a, so it will raise an null divide by 0 exception. So it will directly hit to this exception block. First, we will see if suppose I'm not having this try catch block here, what will happen to the program. So I will comment this. So this try catch block and finally block I'm commenting. So in this situation, what will happen when I will run this code? from here it will be terminated abruptly, means nothing will happen and it will come into the error condition. So you can see that it's running, and what's happening here, the screen has come and it is suddenly closed, and you can see that here I am getting exception. The exception is saying system.divide by zero exception. It is coming and it is saying that attempted to divide by zero. So this is not possible, means this is not allowed. This is an arithmetic exception. If we'll try to divide any number with a zero, then it's not possible. We cannot divide a number by using zero. So here exception comes and our program abruptly closed. Similarly, if I will comment this line and will call here, if I will call convert data and I will give A10. So this is a string and I am trying to convert here in the convert data into integer. I will go to the definition. So here in the convert data method, you can see that here I am taking a string parameter number and I am trying to convert into int 32. So, but I am taking A10. So I can convert 10 to integer, but I cannot convert A to 10. So here invalid means typecasting error will come, invalid casting exception will come. I will run and you can see this. Abruptly it is closing the program without giving any information, means that it will directly close. You can see input string was not in a correct format, system.format exception. Format exception is coming. This is a typecasting exception and it is closed. So similarly, if I will comment this one, if I'll comment this two and I'll call only print number. So in the print number, what is happening here, I'm calling the same method from inside it. So it will not terminate and stack flow exception will come. I will run this and you can see. And here we are not handling any exception. Directly it is means terminating the program. So this is without using the exception handling mechanism. This happens with the application and user does not have any control over the application when it crashes. Due to this, data loss can happen. It is saying process is terminated due to stack overflow exception. So this is terminated here. Stack flow exception you can see here. So this was the example of stack flow exception. Now stack overflow exception, sorry. Terminating, yes. So I have closed. Now I will see. Now what I will do, I will comment this print number and we will only call read array. In the read array, index out of range, due to index out of range exception, the program will be crashed. You can see here I am having 3 elements in my number list, which is list of integer, and here I am trying to access 4th element which is not present, means this index is not valid, means this index is not in the range of 0 1 and 0 1. Here it should come 2. So I'm 0 1 2 and I am trying to access it from the 4th position because indexing starts from 0. So third will be at second index and 4th element will be at index 3. So here 3 elements are there and I'm trying to access 4th element by using number list of 4. So it will give index out of range exception. I will run this. So you can see that argument out of range exception. Sorry, I have told you index out of range. It is argument out of range exception error. And it is saying index was out of range, must be non-negative and less than the size of the collection. So we are trying to access 4th element and our size is 3. This is the at 2, third element is present because index is starting from 0. So I am trying to access 4th element by using number list of 4, but here till number list of 2 I am having elements. So this is not possible. Now this is without exception handling. We have not handled the exception and program is closing. So what I want to do, I want that if even if the exception comes, my program should not close directly and I should have information of that error So in that case, we need to use try catch means exception. We need to use exception handling mechanism. That means we have to use try catch block. So I will uncomment all this and I will also uncomment this try catch, and finally, so now my programs contains exception handling mechanism. Here I'm having try block, here I'm having catch block, and here I'm having finally block. So now my program will not abruptly terminated, and if any exception comes, it will be written on the screen and it will be shown on the screen. It will not terminate until we cut the screen or we close the application. So now I will run here, and currently I'm taking exception parent class. Here we can create separate catch blocks for different type of exception. But first we'll understand how this exception comes and handle here. So now I will run this one, and I'm having all other types of exception because I have uncommented the code. So now what will happen here? I will show the screen again and share the screen again. So in this case, share screen I will do, because you are not able, I think you are not able to see the error screen, this one, and so this I'm sharing. So on the screen you can see that here I'm having my exception handling is working, and you can see that it is showing me the error message attempt to divide by 0. Means what I have done, I have tried to divide the value with the 0. That's not possible. And this is the stack trace at exception handling program divide two numbers int a in 32. It is giving all the information. Means in this method the name of the class is program, then after that is having the method divide two numbers, and in that divide two numbers I'm getting the exception. So these all are the details, and after that printing the inner exception as well. So here I have used the exception handling mechanism. Similarly it will do for other method as well. So here you can see that it has been done for divide two numbers. Now I will comment this one, these two lines I will comment. Now I will run this again. Here it is saying input string was not in a correct format. So this is printing the exception. Program is still running. It is not terminated abruptly. It is not terminated abruptly. I have full control because of the exception handling mechanism. And when I will close this window from here, then only my program will stop running. You can see it's closed. So this is the exception handling mechanism, and will do for other exception as well, which I have shown you. Now, one more thing which I want to show here, for each type of exception, different type of exception, if I want to put more than one catch block here, I can do that. That is possible. And I will print here. So I will not write here exception. Suppose here I want to capture arithmetic exception. I will suppose divide by 0 exception I want to capture in this catch block. In this catch block, if suppose I want to handle in a index out of range exception, so these are the name of the classes and all are inherited from the main exception class. And here I will again paste and create one more. And here suppose stack overflow exception. I want that stack overflow exception related information. I want to write that related code here in this catch block. So that is also possible if I want to do some different operation on that particular error. And similarly for index out of range typecasting, invalid cast exception, I will write here cast invalid cast exception. So invalid exceptions which are related to invalid casting will come here, will hit to this catch block. Exception related to stack overflow will hit to this catch block. Index out of range related exception will hit to this catch block, and divide by 0 exception will hit to this catch block. So these all are possible. Suppose here I want to write this is catch block for divide by 0. So all these type of things we can do in the separate block. So we can have more than one catch block in the same try in one try block, and we will have only one try block for a code block, and we can have multiple catch blocks, and we have one finally block. So this is optional. If you will remove this finally, then also this program will work fine. So this is all about exception handling mechanism. Today we cover types of exception and exception class. After that, we have gone through the practical code example in Visual Studio. Now our next topic will be lambda expressions. What are lambda expression in C# that we'll cover in our upcoming video. And one more thing I want to tell you that I have created one C# course for beginners, and it is present on Teachable. You can go to Teachable and you can take the course. It is only in $2, which is very less price, means 150 or 170 rupees. So you can buy and you can learn from the scratch. In that course, I have put all the topic one by one, and I have gone in detail and with a very simple way. So you can go and you can purchase the course. And after that, I want to say that I have added the playlist link of these YouTube videos in the description. You can go and you can watch other related YouTube videos. At last, I want to say that thank you and bye.